Why is it so painful to get rid of books? Right before making this video, my wife made me an oat latte. If you haven't tried oat milk in your coffees before, then I can highly recommend it. It's creamier, it just tastes better, and it's also better for the environment. Oat milk, would highly recommend it. Now this video isn't going to be about coffee. It's going to be about one of the things that I hate about being a bookworm. One of the best things about being a bookworm is to get a new book. It's like Christmas, isn't it? You open this new book, it smells new, and you just get that thrill when you open this new book for the very first time. Similarly, one of the worst things about being a bookworm is to unhaul books. I currently live in a student flat and I only have 3 bookshelves. And I'm now forced to unhaul some books, which sucks. I think I have 19 books I'm gonna unhaul, and I even have a signed and numbered special edition that I'm going to get rid of. This is going to be painful. So let's get into it. Now I also have some duplicates that I'm gonna get rid of. Firstly, I have 2 copies of these older editions of Assassin's Quest. I currently own Assassin's Quest in the newer editions, and I find those to be much prettier than these green old ones. Now you might be wondering why I have 2 copies. Well, I actually once had 3 copies of this edition. So I was looking for one of the newer editions of Assassin's Quest so I could have matching editions of the Farseer trilogy. I went to 8 Books and ordered the correct edition, and they sent me this one. I got a refund, ordered a new edition, and got this one. I did that again and got the 3rd copy, which I've since given to Slavic Reader. Go and follow her, by the way, she's amazing. And yes, I even checked the ISBN, so I have no idea why they kept sending me the wrong edition. At last I just ordered the correct edition from Book Depository. If you haven't read the Farseer trilogy, then I can highly recommend it. It's awesome. Being a bookworm, you sometimes can become impulsive, which is not a good trait. I have 2 copies of Raybearer, and I only bought these because they were on sale on Amazon. I only ordered 1 copy, but for some reason they sent me 2 copies. Was I interested in this book when I bought it? No. Do I have any plans to read it? No. Why did I order it? I have no idea. It was on sale. I've heard some great things about this book, but my TBR is out of control and I have no idea when I'll get to this book, so I'll give it away to someone. The next book on my list is a new release that is quite popular, and that's The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. How gorgeous is this cover? Orbit Books were kind enough to send me a physical copy for me to review. So initially I tried reading this book in physical form and I just didn't vibe with it. So I switched to audio. I sometimes find that switching to audio can help because the narrator is able to bring these characters to life. However, I just found the characters boring and there's just something about Suri's prose that just didn't vibe with me. This book was a major disappointment for me, but it seems like I'm in the minority because it has pretty great reviews on Goodreads. I ended up giving this book 3 stars because I can understand why some people would enjoy it, but it definitely wasn't for me. Have you read The Jasmine Throne? Is it on your TBR? What did you think about it? It's time to say goodbye. I also have a random copy of Time of Content. This was also an impulsive buy. I found it in a charity shop for £1 or £2, and The Witcher series was on my TBR at that point, so I thought, why not? I have to say that the covers for the Witcher series, all the different covers are just so boring, and there's even a sticker. I mean, it's so bad. I recently read The Last Witch, which is the first book in the Witcher series, and I just didn't enjoy it that much. I found the prose to be a bit clunky, and I didn't find Geralt interesting at all. I mean, he barely says anything in the whole book. I know he's supposed to be this mysterious warrior and like be super badass, but I just found him so boring. Also, short stories very rarely work for me. I've even heard some people say that The Last Witch is the best book in the series. I don't think this series is gonna be for me. I haven't played the games, I haven't watched the Netflix series, so I don't have that understanding of the world, and I just didn't find the characters that interesting. It's time to say goodbye. I also have some of my favorite books that I need to unhaul. Send help, please. The first one is Malice. But don't worry, there's a pretty good excuse for unhauling this book. I now have 2 editions of Malice, so I don't need the paperback anymore. Just look how gorgeous this is. And look at the edges. It's also signed and numbered. Number 15, which is pretty cool. If you're looking for a traditional fantasy with a modern feel, then I can highly recommend The Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. Another book that I'm unhauling, which is a 5 out of 5 star read for me, is Jade City. Similar to Malice, I'm only unhauling this book because I have a special edition of this book. I have the Greenbone Saga in the Illumicrate special edition, so I don't feel like I need the paperback. Also, I bought this book for £1 at Poundland. Why was this book at Poundland for £1? It doesn't make any sense. If you're looking for a new series, then read these 2. Both are fantastic. Next up, we also have a new release, The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I've actually not read this book, so I might be making a huge mistake on hauling this book. And I've heard some mixed things about this book. Also, I still haven't read any of N.K. Jemisin's books, and my plan is to read the Broken Earth trilogy first before picking up this book. Now, if I love the Broken Earth trilogy, which I'm expecting, then I'll probably give this one a try. However, I might not even didn't read the Broken Earth trilogy this year, so I have no idea when I'll get to this book. So instead of just being on my shelf, I thought I should give it away. Hopefully someone else will read it and really love it. Now, I did mention a special edition that is signed and numbered that I'm gonna unhaul, and that is Son of the Storm. This edition is so beautiful. It's the Goldsboro numbered and signed edition, and it has these beautiful sprayed edges, and the cover is stunning. It even has an additional art card, which is really cool. I've actually not read Son of the Storm yet. This book is probably the most difficult book to unhaul out of all the books on this list. The only reason why I'm unhauling it is because I'm in desperate need of some shelf space. Also, I haven't heard that many people speak about this series. Son of the Storm is definitely a book I would love to read one day, but for now, my TBR is just out of control. I need to give it away. I'll probably sell it, so if you're interested, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm also getting rid of Voidbreakers by David Dalglish. It's another book that I just randomly bought in a charity shop, and it's the third book in a series, so it's time to say goodbye. Now here's a bit of a controversial one. I'm unhauling my copy of Stormfront, and I haven't even read it yet. This series has been on my radar for a long time, and a lot of reviewers that I trust really love this book. However, I've also heard some really mixed things about the first 4 books. Most people say that the first 4 books are mediocre to not that good, but then the series becomes really good. And I don't feel like I have time to read 3 mediocre to bad books just to experience a really good book. Also, after hearing Bookworm's thoughts on this book, it just kind of put me off. What do you guys think? Am I making a mistake? Also, I just paid £1 for it, so I don't feel too bad getting rid of it. We are nearing the end. I also have this random copy of The Confessor by Terry Goodkind. Goodkind? I think this is book 11 in the series, if I'm not mistaken. The only reason why I have this copy is because my brother-in-law is a huge fan of this series. And for this Christmas, I thought it would be a really good idea to buy a signed copy of one of the books in the Sword of Truth series and give it to him. However, when this book arrived, it wasn't signed. Fortunately, I got a full refund, but now I just have this random copy of book 11 in a long series, which I'm not planning on reading anytime soon. I am in a very fortunate position where indie authors frequently send me their books for me to review, and that is something I won't take for granted. However, indie books take up a lot of space, so I'm now forced to unhaul some of the indie books that I've been sent. The first 2 indie books I'm unhauling is Winds of Strife and A Song of Steel. How beautiful are these covers? I gave both of these books 3 stars, and I thought they were alright. If you're looking for a fancy book that has a complex magic system and a lot of rules and a lot of good world building, then I can recommend checking out this book. Although it wasn't a favorite of mine, I can definitely see a lot of people really enjoying this one. The other book is A Song of Steel, a fantasy/historical fiction. And I love the premise of this book. This book basically asks, what if the Vikings didn't disappear and Christianity didn't take over Scandinavia? I am from Scandinavia myself, and I grew up in a Christian household, so I love the premise of this. It was just so intriguing, and Duncan's writing is pretty good. However, I had difficulty connecting with some of the characters, hence why I gave it a 3-star rating. If you think the premise sounds interesting, then I can highly recommend picking up this book. Only 2 more books left. I am in so much pain. The last 2 books I'm unhauling is Falling Against Gravity and A Knock in the Dark. I accidentally won these 2 books in a Twitter giveaway. Now let me explain. So I followed Jeff, one of the authors of this book, on Twitter, and I didn't know that he was hosting a giveaway. The giveaway basically said, if you followed him on Twitter, then you would participate in the giveaway. I didn't know this. Suddenly he messaged me and said that I had won. So yeah, that's how I received these 2 books. He even sent me some really cool stickers. I really appreciate getting these books. And I do not take it for granted that these indie authors send me this book for me to review and to enjoy. However, I really hope by giving these books away that someone else will pick them up and fall in love with them. Look how many books there are. And this isn't even all of them. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your support. I'll see you in the next video.